Hi everyone, and welcome to episode, I want to say 8. That's so cool. Episode 8. Yeah, we're here, and I'm really excited. My name is Sarah, and this is DM Talks, a podcast that aims to promote well-being and assist healing, whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually. Ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety, and this podcast hopes to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all at the centre of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence? So I'm back, and I'm rested. I'm joined by a beautiful person, mind, body, and soul. And this episode's going to be a bit different. This episode is... We're going to get into it. It's one of the first of tea my tea will be spilled. Tea will be spilled. And it's one of the first of, I guess, a series I kind of want to do, which is like related to anti-racism work. Mm-hmm. But first off, let me introduce my guest. My guest, the guest of honour. How do I even start? Top presenter, comedian, class clown, the content that we all want to see on Instagram. Like, if you don't see her dancing weekly, like, I feel sorry for you guys, because she's out here, she's giving it the most, and she's doing the best. And I'm just so happy to be joined by you today. But welcome, Rebecca. Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am good, actually. Yeah, I'm good. I'm fantastic.
I'm happy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's like, I'm just happy because it's like everything's like forming together. Like, I've been like quite quiet, just because I've been, manifesting my projects, kind of like want to make everything like perfect before I provide.
So before
do you know what I mean? Before I come out, before I come outside and show you all you want, I wanted to, reflect, meditate, but also grow. Like, I feel a lot more confident now.
Yeah, and everyone needs to rest. Everyone needs to have their resting period.
Exactly, and more so now than ever. Because, well, I spoke about this a little on the last episode about the uprising, or not the uprising, but the increased attention on Black Lives Matter movement since the death of George Floyd. It's been mad, but also it's been very unnerving because all this increased attention is... It's very draining, isn't it, Rebecca?
Very draining.
It's very draining.
Very draining. Like, it's like I like to see that people are caring more, but you should have already been caring, so to say. You should have already been caring. It's not just a trend that people can jump on now. It's not like it's not just George Floyd that has died or that has been getting killed by police. Do you know what I mean?
It hasn't. How many? I can't remember the total number, but I can't remember the total number of the demographic. Wait, sorry. Let me start again. I was at a trans march on Saturday, or like 2 Saturdays ago. We are the 70%, and I met someone who told me that. I think they read a list of like 24 names of trans people that had died, and that had all been this year. All black trans people that have died, like, during this revolt, during this social change, like, it's quite... It's speechless. You're just like, how can you say Black Lives Matter and you post your black square and go, and then, people are still getting killed on the street.
Yeah, and then and you don't say anything, you don't do anything. You're just, I was a bit uncomfortable by this situation today, so I was there for a bit. I recorded, I helped. You want to feel like you helped in your head, but are you actually helping?
Exactly. Like, I think, at the end of the day, I've said this before, actually. I've said, no one was born conscientious, right? So that's what you need to be aware of in unlearning any form of conditioning, right? Yeah. However, there needs to be sort of another like balance within you where you're not the first person who's learning this. You are not the first white person who's learned about race. I'm not the first black person to talk about race. So you need to take your sensitivity out of the situation and
it's
be
not,
productive
it's
with
not
your
about
learning.
You. This is
Exactly,
the thing. It's not about
you.
you.
It's a collective issue. It's a collective issue, but we're gonna get into that, and I think we'll save the tea. Because that's what happens, isn't it? Like it's just like it's crazy. But we'll get into the tea and the decoding the messes. But first up, I'm gonna take you to the first segment. That's the divine, and this is where we wanted to nominate something that we like that has uplifted us. And today I'm gonna nominate a black business called Oki Skincare. I actually how did I find them? I think I found them on Instagram.
Yeah.
But okay, so one good thing, right, that has sort of come out of this uprising is the importance of supporting black businesses,
yeah.
supporting just independent people making it away with their living. It's like, why do I want to give my money and my coin to an organisation which maybe even exploit black and brown people just because it's the first one that I see on a shelf in Superdrug.
It's a branded one that everybody knows.
Exactly. Like, let me take my coin elsewhere. Anyway, so I bought two things. I bought a facial soap. It was like activated charcoal and rose clay. And activated charcoal removes it basically absorbs oiliness, and it absorbs unclogs your pores and everything. Okay. So using that with rose clay has been so soothing on my skin, so lovely, and it smells really nice. So I'm really, really happy about that.
Yeah,
and then I'll send you their socials, they're sick. And then I also bought this soap called I think it was mint and green barley soap. It was like an olive oil blend thing, and I shit you not, I finished it in 2 weeks. I finished a bar of soap in 2 weeks because I loved it so much.
It's just like...
Oh no, I was there with my exfoliating gloves oh my God, give it to me.
This is everything I want.
Literally.
Your skin's singing to you yes.
Honestly, anybody can tell you, I just love, I love skincare, love all things moisturising. I like to be soft. I like to be kind to my body, I
feel like you feel better. The nicer you are to your body, you feel better.
Honestly, moisturising is a form of self-care.
Honestly.
Because think about it, right? I'm going so off topic. But moisturising is such a form of self-care. You're standing there with your body, taking every single part, moisturising, massaging,
It's one of the simplest forms of self-love. Literally, it's just
just that whole idea of touch and comfort. Do you know what I mean? So I made a decision 2 years ago not to argue with people who don't moisturise.
Oh yeah.
Because Kelechi, literally, I've said this on the podcast before, I always quote Kelechi because she wrote this affirmation. Ashy people do ashy things.
It's true.
So true. And I'll say that with my chest. Do you know what I mean? Me with my lovely soap that I got from Oki Skincare. I feel lavish, I feel gentle, I feel refreshed, and I want to spread that loveness to others. So yeah, guys, support black businesses, support Black Pound Day.
Many.
I think there's they're doing, is it Black Pound Day? They've nominated a day every month now.
Every month, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's just so clever because it's we are going to spend money, so why don't I spend my money in a conscious
way? Because
they're great products.
Exactly.
They're great products, but they don't get their representation because they're not the first ones that you see. So
they're not the ones in every shop that you can easily get.
Exactly. So it's good that I can talk about it on a podcast and then I can talk about it to friends and then it travels through word of mouth.
Yeah. I love that. That's what I love.
We love to see it. We love to see it. So what would you like to nominate for the Divine, Rebecca?
I would like to nominate... I'd like to nominate my niece.
Oh.
Yeah, it was her 4th birthday.
Oh.
So, yeah. I love you.
Oh, why do you love her? Tell me a little bit.
I love her because as a 4-year-old, she has enough attitude to put everyone in their place in my family.
Oh, that's impressive.
And coming from a very, very, very strict Nigerian household, for a 4-year-old to put my mum in place, it's kind of all right, you go, girl.
Oh my God,
I know she's going to be fine throughout her life.
Mate, you know what? I've got another nomination. Because I honestly think that children with that much fucking conviction, I'm so proud of them.
Me so happy.
You know how I mentioned to you, I went to the trans march a couple Saturdays ago. It was for the We Are the 70%. there's this trans child, so basically at the end of the event, it gave the opportunity for members of the public to
Speak.
And there was this trans child, they were 10 years old, and they were like, I am trans, I am proud, and like they literally did this whole speech about her, like their identity and how affirmed they are and how they're not taking anything taking any mediocrity, they're not taking any complicity.
I love
and
that.
I just went up to them and I was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I wish I was that courageous as you as 10 years old. Like,
oh, me at 10 years old.
Honestly, it like, that's the thing. Like, I looked at them and I was just so amazed because for a lot of us, there were so many times where we had to shrink ourselves to
make others feel better.
Make others feel better, to survive, many reasons, you know. And there's this trans child out there with conviction took every single person's attention. Like, we were all just screaming, like clapping, crying because we were just so happy. Sorry,
I am who I am and I don't care.
I was so happy for them. So happy. It was, I was just so gassed. But yeah, that was,
I'm so proud of the younger generation.
Honestly, it's just like, it's so affirming. It's so affirming. And like, it also it reignites hope again, because like I said, like, people did different things in situations because they had to shrink themselves. So like, let's say when you're a child, you might want to, not even when you're a child, when you're an adult, you might do it till this day. There's been times where you even want to make jokes about yourself to sort of make the comfort of being the only black person or the only trans person, or do you know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of like making the joke so everyone else doesn't have to make the joke.
Exactly.
It's like breaking the ice for everybody else.
Exactly. And that's something that people had to learn very early in their identity, especially like when they were quite young. So to see that person with Vim, well done you. Like, we love to see it. Yeah, no, honestly, like, it was such a great day. I think then let's take you to the next segment. That wasn't really much of a segue, was it? That was sick. Sorry. That was so good. I wasn't saying that. I was just like, go, girl.
That's the introduction.
Oh my god.
Like, actually do that.
That was sick. I literally was there like, go, Rebecca. Yeah, give it to them.
Oh my gosh.
Decoding the messes. Okay. This is Decoding the Messes, the segment which involves unpacking something that we consider mess, whether we find it on and offline. So I am going to talk about Monroe Bergdorf, right? Not that she's mess. She's a beautiful woman. I love her. But I want to talk about an incident in 2017, right? Monroe Bergdorf was a model that she got a working job with L'Oreal, right? It was a part of their diversity campaign. Monroe Bergdorf is also trans black woman. And basically it was found out that her status, basically someone found a status that she put on her private Facebook and sold it to the press, and she got destroyed. In the statement, she was responding to, the protest in Charleston in 2017, where white and far pro-white protesters were defending a statue, and then someone decided to drive through the statue.
It was that
event. And, well, not even an event, it was the incident. It was fucking traumatic, you know?
Ridiculous.
Anyway, so Monroe was commentating on the event. She said all white people were racist. That wasn't the only thing that she said. It was like a whole paragraph, right? So from this, she was sacked from her job, right?
The internet went mad.
Internet went mad. The internet, honestly, I've never seen like a public figure be destroyed.
So brutally bashed.
Like, it's not even just this incident which was which is so like abusive. Like, she actually was forced to quit as Labour LGBT advisor in 2018 because of the abuse from abuse and attacks in the tabloid press and by comments that the Conservatives had made. Like, even now, I was on her Instagram earlier when I was researching, and there's a lady called here she is. There is a lady called what's her name? Oh, it's not really coming up. Ugh, internet, don't
It's
do this
just-
to
it's
me.
in my
Don't
head.
do this to me.
It's just like, why? Like, the whole of the people are entitled to their opinions.
Yes.
Everyone's entitled to their opinions. But
Yes.
to watch the whole of the UK basically turn around and bash you for your image to the point that you have to, how much? This is the thing. I feel like people don't understand how much mental pressure that puts on a person, how much anxiety that can put on a person, how much depression that could cause a person to then have. Because, people don't actually think, do they? Like, nobody actually thinks, because you wouldn't... Okay, for example, someone can say, okay, I like dogs. I think all Rottweilers... Rottweilers. I think all Rottweilers are racist. Okay? That's that person's opinion.
Yeah.
Does that then cause you to want to then send death threats to this person? Then start attacking this person because of their image or because of what you've then found out, or you're digging things up to try and break down this person. You don't do it. Realistically, Rebecca, don't say certain things because...
But the thing is, it's mad to me because, like, a part of, like, my interest in psychology is, like, just interpreting language, right? So let's say even with the comment or the statement saying all white people are racist, right? Saying all white people are racist is literally like saying the police force is racist, right? You wouldn't be shocked by that because of the proportionate rates that black and brown people are killed by.
Yep.
By the police. You wouldn't be offended by that because you see, like, do you know what I mean?
You live with it day to day.
You could be a racist, right, and still be aware that the black people that the police are still racist.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You could even use that to your advantage. Like we've seen with Amy Cooper, the lady who tried to call the police on a black man when she was walking a dog.
Yeah.
With because you're supposed to walk dogs on lead in the park, and she wasn't, and she wanted to call the police on him.
Yeah, because he called her out.
Do you know what I mean? So for you to be offended by saying all white people are racist is suggesting that your individuality is higher than the collective that has also experienced different history.
Yeah.
And that has also experienced a different exploitation. Like, I find it very, very... it just baffles me. It baffles me because the thing is, it's like, I said this before earlier, it's like, okay, so I'm not the first black person to talk about racism.
Yep.
You're not the first white person to learn about racism. So why is your sensitivity higher than the education that you could receive?
That you could easily receive.
Because...
Easily receive. There's Google, there's books. You can find the actual sources of decent books, not books that have been misconstrued to sell a certain narrative. There's libraries, there's countless of libraries. Library cards are free. The internet is free. You can go to the library to get on the internet. I used to do that. I can't lie. At one point, I used to do that.
No,
and it's fine. It's good to educate yourself.
But you have to, because you're living in a world which not everybody's like you. Not everybody's going to be for you. So you want to educate yourself to help others, you know?
Exactly.
And I think even when we go back to this all white people racist, like that statement that was made, it's not... Because it's talking about collective, it literally is not offensive. It's literally saying all white people are racist is literally the same as saying all white people are complicit in contributing to racism.
Yeah, basically.
And that is literally it. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not,
you are part of the problem, realistically.
But that's the thing, like, race wasn't created by us, right? It was created before us. We're all in this fucking system together, you know? And this system affects my community more so than your community.
Yep.
And that is literally it. Like, you don't need to like get your feelings involved.
It's basically you telling me your feelings are more important than my whole collective community's feelings.
But honestly, it's true, because it's like you're deciding to choose your whiteness over my humanity.
Literally.
Because it's not, racism doesn't end by a bloody comment. It's taken into healthcare, it's taken into institutions, it's taken everything. And let me tell you, talk about Monroe because I just find it really mad, right? So this incident happened in 2017. She's had so much abuse and just so much violence directed towards her since 2017 because she just basically got loads of just public attention, right?
Yeah.
So now, Black Lives Matter, increase, uprising, everyone's like, oh my God, let's help, let's learn about race, rah, 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 all of this stuff. And she was calling out L'Oreal because she was, I think, it's that whole thing of big brands need to be accountable on
Definitely.
their things.
Definitely.
And now she has just been awarded, right? So I'll read this as off her Instagram, bearing in mind all of what I just told you in 2016. So yeah, so 6 weeks ago on June the 9th, she says, I've spoken with L'Oreal Paris, and please swipe for a full statement. The statement here says, this week I spoke with L'Oreal Paris new president, Delphine Viguier. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry, Delphine. Who reached out to me directly. We had an open and constructive conversation. She listened to what I had to say and expressed her regret on how the situation was handled 3 years ago. Shortly, L'Oreal will release a statement on their plans to make a charitable donation of 25 grand. I don't know if that's euros or whatever. 25 grand to Mermaid Gender, supporting gender variant and transgender youth in the UK, and 25 grand to UK Black Pride, an annual safe space to celebrate diverse sexualities and gender identities, cultures, gender expressions and backgrounds. She goes on to say, where is this? Okay, so when L'Oreal, where does it say? Oh yeah, so when L'Oreal offered me a consultancy role to sit on their UK Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Board, helping to influence and inform the brand, I thought that would be the perfect opportunity to practice what I preach and take up the seat at the table to be the representation that we deserve as a community. I believe in accountability and progress, not cancellation and grudges. While that happened 3 years ago, it was extremely traumatic for me, personally and professionally. Sitting on a board to provide a voice and a champion for Black, trans and queer voices in the beauty industry is important to me. I'll leave you with that, but you can find her on Instagram. She's like widely known. So like,
Stunning.
yeah. And I just think like this poor woman, yeah, she's literally been saying the same thing for how long now?
Years.
Right, 2017, everyone wanted to destroy her because everyone got their feelings in a twist and they didn't want to learn racism for what it actually was. And now you see this.
It's kind of like, it's like, take it on the chin and move on. Go on.
Do you know what I mean?
It makes you stronger.
No,
go
honestly,
on.
I hope Monroe Bergdorf gets all the prizes, all the claims, every single thing, because she deserves it.
She
Not just
deserves
because
everything.
She's intelligent and beautiful and so fucking wise. But just imagine that emotional strength. Can you actually
Imagine how traumatizing.
fathom, like, regardless of you, like even all the personal battles that we have on an internal level day to day, but being in the public eye under that much magnitude, being
much
destroyed,
scrutiny.
being violated daily, like she's literally getting death threats, like if you like on everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And I just was mad. Like she honestly, she was one of the first people that I wanted to look at, like during this sort of thing, because I was just like, raw, like, do you see how the world has just changed in 3 years like that? Sorry, Monroe.
Sorry, we
This
didn't.
girl best get her coin.
She needs
best
to definitely get her coin. Most
She
definitely.
deserves it. Like, honestly, she's been through the most. And you know what? I think this actually takes me into my next topic that I want to talk about, which is called the mechanism of racism. Because I genuinely think... Actually, wait, you know what? Let me ask you, how do you feel? Because I can see you sitting there being like...
Low-key, like, shout out Monroe, I think you're genuinely amazing. I feel like certain brands they do things for performative. They do things to be performative. They've been like, okay, so now everyone's seen that we've done wrong in the past.
Yeah.
Let's publicly show how good we're trying to be now.
Yeah.
Let's make it be like,
But
we're doing this. It's a good thing.
Because
it's
it's
a
like, if
great
you
thing.
disrespect me loudly, you praise
Yeah,
you
praise me even louder.
louder. Yeah.
Praise me even louder. But this is the thing, you can start putting things in place. Start putting things in place first.
Okay.
Don't just be like, we're going to give you a huge donation for this and give you a huge donation for that. That's all fantastic.
Yeah.
We need that. We love that.
Yeah.
But start doing more for the community. Start doing more for the society. Okay,
Yes.
so
And long-standing.
Long-standing things.
Not just, I'll post my black square and go.
I'll post my black square, I'll give a donation for...
longevity on the action.
Yes. I want to see, for example, discount codes for people of certain colours, or people of certain genders, I want to see more. This is the thing, I want to see more. Because... I'm getting so... Okay, for example, with L'Oreal, I want to see classes being put in place. For example, I want to see classes of teaching transgender women, transgender men, people that are more feminine, people that are more masculine, teaching them how to do more skincare things, being more inclusive on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Not just because you have been called out for something.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I want to see more day-to-day change. I want to see, like, same way you're very public and you're very vocal with your disrespect. Carry on being and then you want to be more vocal with your respect, and you want to be more vocal with your apology. Carry on being vocal. Don't just
be consistent.
Be consistent. Don't just, okay, I've been very vocal in, it's like, I've apologized for everyone else to see.
Yeah.
Show me what else you're doing to change. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Show me what you're doing to change.
Because that's the thing, there's so many ways to be racist. There's so many ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways.
Because they could put her on this panel and she might literally be the only then person of colour. Or the only then trans woman there. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So it's like, we need long-standing action. And like not just an opportunity for me, but an opportunity for people that look like me on and off, on the background
and
but
everywhere
also on screen.
Yeah, like, everywhere. Not just someone that has more followers. We need people, like, we need it to be for everyone. Like, literally be for everyone.
Because that's the thing. Like, I think when I was learning about race, especially in relation to my dissertation, even when I was just learning about it at university, like I was learning, but then also I felt so like privileged as well, because I have the resources and the information to learn. So think about all the people that do not even have the language to communicate their pain or communicate their frustration. Those are the people that are just lost in the system, and then they're recycled into opportunities that aren't aligning with their best selves, and it's so unfortunate, because it's like, I can talk about all of this, but think about like all the other black women that also look like me, that are in shitty schools or in the care, and like they don't have the language.
Yeah, shitty institutions,
shitty
workplaces, shitty just general day-to-day life.
But they don't have
situations.
the language to reflect it. Like, they don't have the language to communicate their feelings. Like, it really, it scares me. It's sad.
It's very sad. Like, because it's... As a person that's like, I don't really know how to articulate myself well, which is why it always looks like I'm just getting so heated, because I'm just like, words come out, but like,
passion, innit?
It's passion, and that's one thing I want to get into, but I don't know if I want to get into it now, just because I am trying. Right? This is the thing. We need to have more spaces that it's more accepting, to give people time to want to then try, and then want to then talk about their emotions, and then talk about their experiences. It's going to take people time. You can't just expect people to be like, oh yeah, I've just met you, but I'm just going to tell you my whole life story and how you've made me feel, or how...
Putting that emotional responsibility on you.
I'm
not your mother.
Gosh, I'm not your mother.
I'm not your mother. I'm not your sis. I'm not your mammy. I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not your anything.
I'm just trying to live my best life.
I'm just out here being cute.
Ridiculously cute. Look at us. Like,
what I mean?
I just realistically, we're not anyone's teachers. We are not anyone's teachers. So, going back to it, I don't have to teach you about
not at all.
Racism, or how to be less discriminative or less prejudiced. There's movies. There's books. There's Google. There's childhood cartoons.
I'm literally I'm scrolling through my Facebook, and I basically, so June the 3rd, well, at the start of June, when there was just loads of attention on Black Lives Matter, I just saw some information, so I was resharing it, whatever. But because I was sharing it, it gave the opportunity for some white people to slide into my mentions and be like, what about this? Do you know about this? So I wrote a status. I'll tell you. No one is born conscientious, which I think is important to remember in learning any conditioning. Yet saying that, this is not the time to slide into the DMs of your black friends to educate you. That is emotional labour and further suggests that black people are of service to you. Anything that you can message to your friend, you can also put into a search engine. Remember, Google is your friend. Mate, it goes on, like, honestly, I made another statement, like, I was moving mad, like, I was literally, well, not moving mad, but like, I just didn't have time. This is my second status, literally. I was moving like a Facebook mum.
Hilarious.
So this one was, actually, no, you know what, let me
I need to tell you
myself.
the reason why I find this so funny. I said to my friend, I was like, oh, I'm coming to do a podcast, like, coming to talk on a podcast about racism, and the first thing they went is, the person you're doing the podcast with, are they white or black? And I was like, they're black. And she was like, oh, thank God. And I was like, understandable, but you tell me why. And she was like, I'm sick of everyone basically like wanting me to then be like, oh, so you tell me about your experience. Tell me how it's made you feel. Oh, because I care about you so much.
Do you? Because I feel like you were there and you could have stopped it, but let's leave that for another day. Do you know what was really weird as well? Like during this whole thing, during this month of June, where everyone learned about black people, when they realised
like we've not been here forever. Forever.
Look, it was the whole like people that have been racist to you sharing pro-black things, or like sharing things that like were in favour of Black Lives Matter, and it's like,
oh my days.
Voila.
Do you know what? I'm not even gonna lie.
It was a mindfuck, wasn't it?
The protest. I went to two protests. The protest that I went to.
The first one.
I went. There was one that was meant to be officially the first one that was at the library.
Okay. I saw someone that you know, so I thought you were there, but I didn't see you.
I seen one that was at the library that was near St. Peter's Square.
Yeah, that was the one that was there. With 150 people.
Yeah, I was at that one, and then there was the bigger one.
Yeah, the 20,000 one.
20,000 one.
Yeah.
And I can't even lie, like, I nearly had a panic attack because I was like, I don't want to sound like a bitter person, or I don't want to sound...
No, I completely get what you mean.
Where were all of you when things are happening on a day-to-day basis? There's people that I saw there that I have personally been in a racial incident with.
Literally.
And you have chose to be quiet.
Oh my God.
Or you have chose to be...
sit on the fence.
Sit on the fence, or just, let me throw in a little joke.
Let me tell you about people who sit on the fence, right? The thing is, people used to sit on the fence when they were younger because it is a social comfort, right? However, we're grown now. If you're sitting on the fence of structural integrity, that's the choice.
That is a choice.
That's a choice. But you know what? I'm so happy that you said that, because that's exactly what happened to me when I went to the
20th.
The one in London. No, I literally I thought I'd saw someone that I'd been in a racial incident with, and it put me back into that room. I was literally crying.
I didn't know. I
didn't know what to do, because I felt so powerless, because it's like how has my racial based trauma ignited that reaction so quickly?
How is something I thought I got over just...
Do you know what I mean?
Just like that.
That's the thing, because regardless of if it's been indirect or direct, I'm going to be black throughout all of this.
Throughout my whole life.
24/7. So I've got all these memories, and I've got all this...
this trauma I'm going to have to face every day.
Do you know what I mean? It's all attached. It's like someone referred to it in my dissertation as one of my participants referred to it as a memory of like racial memoirs.
Yeah.
Or like, it's like a backlog of racial memoirs, and it's just crazy,
like a
because
story.
It's just mad. Like it's just I'm just so sort of, I feel it's weird how you said that, because I feel actually comforted by the fact that you said that, because then I know I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Because that is literally what happened to me. I was crying.
I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I was walking with all my friends, and I was just like, and normally, you know me, I'm a very,
bubbly, like loud person.
When things affect me, I try to act like it doesn't, but I was just like, I had goosebumps. I felt short of breath. My head was all I just didn't know. I was just like, so I get it, people change and people can educate themselves, but if something has happened recently and I've either seen you be silent or sit on or sit on the fence in regards to a racial issue, and then for me to see you there and you're saying, yeah, you're for Black lives, you're for the Instagram. You're for the gram. You're for the gram. You're for the Twitter. You're for the Facebook. Because you want to show at one point that you were on the right side of history when silently you probably were not.
Do you know
or even
what I mean?
Okay.
Mate, honestly, it's a lot. And I just think, like, there needs to be a lot of... This is why I'm encouraging all Black people to rest as much as they can right now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, like, speak up, of course, like, we need to fight for these issues, but also, this isn't a emotive time. Take time. Take your sweet time.
Because I think there's a lot of things that... I feel like you kind of have this numbness. Yeah. Because you're so used to it, you kind of have this numbness.
Yeah.
And something triggered me recently, and I was just like...
No, definitely.
For this to trigger me, it's just like... I like to think I'm a rock. I know I have to be strong. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've been taught all my life I have to be strong because the world's not going to be nice. For something so small as it was basically someone commenting on Michelle Obama's shoulders and saying how it was more manly.
Yeah.
It set me off.
No, I completely
set me off.
Because the thing is, like, when you're, like, I'm not sure about you, but, like, when I was younger, I was constantly, I just got loads of, like, verbal abuse just about how, because I'm darker, I'm more man-like. And it's just, like...
It's like...
I'm still cute, though. And you know what, actually? Let me take that back. The same people that were fucking rude to me when I wasn't the right Black for them... Then tried to slide into my DMs when I was cute.
You know what it is?
I was always cute, but not for you.
It's over-sexualized or over-masculinized.
Yeah.
It's like they can't find a middle ground. It's either I find you so sexy or I don't find you sexy because I feel like you look like a man because I can potentially bench more than you at gym and I don't even go gym. Realistically, you're intimidated. Why are you intimidated by how I look? I'm not doing anything to you. I'm literally just trying to live my life.
No, and that's the thing. Like, we're all living our lives, and because it's honestly one of the reasons why I made this podcast, because the thing is, we all want to be seen in our entirety. However, as a Black woman, I'm going to be viewed first by my prefix, and that is a part of my life, and that is not just my life. That is someone that looks like you, that's down the road, that's someone that's in another country, that's someone in, do you know what I mean, 3 miles away. It doesn't matter. Racism is anywhere and everywhere. Like, you can't ignore it. You can acknowledge it and work through it, but you cannot ignore it.
Not ignore it.
Well, I mean, you can if you're white, and that's what we saw for so many years. But do you know what? This uprising in Black Lives Matter has given the confidence to Black and brown people. Well, I mean, obviously, mostly Black, but it hasn't given confidence to people from a racial minority to cut ties with people that do not. No, cut ties for that people for comfort. Because when I was younger, like, talking about race, just worried about it because it's like, oh my God, I'm going to lose out everyone. Like, they're going to let me down. Like, you're getting your feelings. Now, do I give a fuck? You would never fool me.
Oh my God. You know, you've literally just said something like, okay, so I remember when I was younger, it's one of the only things I would, like, not one of the only things, a couple things that I could go back and correct people on. When I was younger, in high school, I was chill with, like, not always, there would be, like, this certain group of, like, white girls. I went to an all-girls school that I would chill with. And I would let them assume that I am of Caribbean descent and not of African descent. Because I know that Caribbean descent is more favoured, so to say, amongst that group or amongst just in general, realistically, in general. Let's not even sugarcoat it. It was just in general.
It was, the thing is, it was like, it was weird how, like, because I'm, do you know what I mean? I'm a Black woman, South Sudanese, African. I could see the, well, just growing up, I was just aware of, like, sort of racial preference.
Yes.
And it was really, not racial, no, that doesn't make sense, because it's not about being Black, it's more to do about culture, isn't it? Or culture and, like, history, because...
Culture, history, destination, or what they... culture, because I feel like they think Jamaican culture is more acceptable, it's more fun, like...
someone literally, like, they would, it was this sort of anti-Africa ness that was very rooted in, Africans are poverty, are
poor.
poverty,
They all
civil
stink
war,
and this and
do you know
this
what I mean?
and
It was
that.
really abusive, but the thing is, there was more sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but like it was really offensive when I was younger.
Really
Someone literally
offensive.
said it to me. Someone was literally like to me, "Oh yeah, you're African Blick." Like someone said that to me with their whole chest.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Can't you just let me like be about my
mercy.
day? Bearing in mind, this was when I was like 14.
It's
Not
like
even
me.
14,
It's like me
13.
coming up to someone and being like, "Oh, your A4 sheet of paper white." Haha.
Sorry, sorry.
Okay. And what does that do for you?
you know
What's
what I
that doing
mean?
for your day?
Oh my
How's
God,
that?
I remember there was this one time where I was outside this like bar situation, and there was this black man. He was terrorizing me in front of his group of friends. He was like, "Oh, you're so Blick, you're so black, you're so this, you're so that." I was like, don't you have some form of woman that is black in your life?
Is your mum not black?
Is your mum not black? Is your grandmother not black? Is there someone not black in your life? Yet you want to come to me just because I'm a few hues darker than you?
I feel like it is as well.
Mad?
I feel like
See?
sometimes with people like that, it's like, it's like kind of like trying to get in favor. It's like I'm trying to get in. I want to be in their favor.
Oh, no, 100%.
So before they can do it, I'm gonna do it, and they're gonna be more like,
but
my G.
You're so right, because the thing is, everyone like, so let's say I was brought up in Windsor, right, and it was like, everyone was fucking mad, right? Everyone was mad, but because it was that, I want to be with the white community more than the black community, I was the brunt of a lot of their jokes, and I was brunt of a lot of their abuse, because I was the only black woman as well. No, I think, okay, so there was like, when I say, okay, so there's only three people that are as dark as me in Windsor, but not obviously now, but when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was literally 3 people that looked like me, but they came at different stages of their lives.
Yeah.
So I was in schooling in Windsor since I was 4 or 5. Do you know what I mean? So I've grown up with these people. I've seen the racism, and so my experiences were different to theirs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I say this because I lived in Windsor, it wasn't like, white people bad and they are racist. But black people were being racist, like people were being racist to me. So I saw Windsor as like, okay, you find your tribe and then
Being more prejudiced, more discriminating.
But that's the thing, you just find your tribe and you chill with them. I want to bring up an example of the madness that is living in Windsor, right? So this happened, I think, maybe 2 years ago. This mixed race person I don't know was having a drink in Windsor, having like, gin and tonic as you do with your friends, like just chilling, just having a nice little drink, the sun's shining. Do you know what I mean?
Love to see it.
And anyway, so they were having a drink, and someone who's worked there, who's also dark skinned, like the same colour tone as me.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, there's like hardly any like dark skinned people in Windsor. Went up to them whilst they're drinking, and was like, "Oh, so what do you think about the word half caste?"
Bomba squeeze.
Let me just unpack that. If you don't understand what I've just said, a dark skinned black woman has gone up to a mixed race woman and said, "What do you think about the word half caste?" whilst they're having a drink. Do you not see that as mad? They have literally gone up to someone and tried to ignite conversation,
an emotion,
and conversation when someone is literally minding their business having a drink.
This person doesn't know you from Adam.
Do you know
Leave
what I
me
mean?
alone.
Like, this is what I mean. That's the thing. Because of incidents like that happening with so many people around, like where I live, it was literally like you find your peoples and you move forward. Like the black people were just as mad to me as the white people. So that's why I just had my tribe and like I had my friends and that was it. So because of stuff like that, I have a very because I was so ingrained in stuff like that. It just makes me see racism for the ideology that it is.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be spewing that amount of discomfort in an individual whilst you're working just because it's on your mind.
The fact that the person had that much vim to go and say it to somebody.
Didn't even say hi. That was the first question. Whilst
that person's working.
They were working. Literally, you're collecting drinks to take to the to the bar, you're
my
collecting empty
days.
glasses and you decide to be discriminatory to people whilst you're working. Like,
Whilst
how
you're
is that
working.
okay? So, like, because of, like I said, like, racism is a crazy ideology. It's insidious, but it's also everywhere. And
It's
it can be...
everywhere.
It can also be, like... Oh, yeah, it's just a bit mad. But you know what? I'm going to take you to a little educational part of
Okay,
this.
I love to learn,
I love to learn. So I'm going to tell you about role congruity theory, right?
Okay.
So this is a psychological theory.
Okay. I feel like I'm being psychoanalyzed. I was like,
Oh no, this is not a psychoanalysis, but
Yeah.
it's more so like, I honestly think, right, that if people were able to to recognize how racism works in your eyes and in your mind, you would be able to understand racism a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Or not even racism a bit quicker, but like it would just
A bit better,
It would assist
yeah.
your learning and your education. So actually, I wrote some notes just here. I did a paper as well this morning. I read a paper. I was well proud of myself.
I love
Do you know what I
that.
mean? I was like gassed. But
We
yeah, let me
love
talk.
that. Intellectual queen.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I'm blushing.
You know, just have to
But,
state facts.
Yeah, no, let me talk to you about role congruity theory. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes up. Okay, so wait, we're doing so well. Oh my god, I'm so happy about this. Like, normally it's taking so much longer.
It's because I feel like I should have came with like information and receipts and been like blah 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 blah
Oh,
blah
no,
blah
don't
blah
worry.
blah blah.
No, but the thing is, what I like about this is that we're such... Like, we've done that throughout. Think about when you were talking about that thing that triggered you earlier, and the thing
Yeah.
that I was talking about Monroe. Like, that's all of that. However, we're coming with emotion. We're coming with personal accounts.
Yeah.
And that needs to be the foundation of this first episode, because it's like, oh, I get it.
Okay, so that's how it makes you feel.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
it's
okay.
weird how sort of education is like that, but people only learn through relatedness.
This is why I like anime so much,
Oh, what do you like about anime?
because I feel like
You tell me about it.
I feel like-
I need to get this thing up anyway. I'm trying to find view bar.
I feel like it understands me, and I feel like there's always a character that I feel like, oh my god, that's me. It's a lovable crackhead that is ready for all the smoke.
Yes, we
And
love
it's
to
like-
see it.
They always tell the story of how this character or a certain character or has come from. Do you know what I heard? This is one of the funniest things.
Okay.
I heard that black people love anime because it's always a character that's come up with adversity, and it's always it always goes to show about how they prevail, and that's why black people love anime.
Oh my god, that's actually jokes.
And I was like, see, all I heard was the truth. So
let me just sit here and mind my fucking teacher. I mean, it's like, oh my god.
oh
like,
my days. I was like, oh, someone said it to me and I was like, right. So that explains my love for every anime I've ever watched.
And this mid-track has a negative. Sorry, I'm just writing my negative appraisal. So, I want to talk to you about role congruity theory, and basically, this is something that I just became familiar with in learning about gender and stereotyping, but within the media, within life, within identity, you know, and well, within society, really. And it was really, really interesting, but I sort of used this theory to understand race more. And then I found this other study that actually talks about it in relation to race. So I think it's like really fitting. So basically, role congruity theory suggests that you have your ought self and your is self. Your ought is self is what you ought to do, what you ought to be told by society. So men ought to be politicians, right? You then have your is self, and that's what you actually do. So if you have a female politician that disrupts, and she's just there.
That disrupts the alt.
That disrupts the ought, because wait, that's supposed to be a man, you know, because that's what society told you to do, and that's what's conditioned, and that's also reflected in our history, but reflected in like top positions, in like managerial positions. You know what I mean? There's a lack of women representation in higher spaces, you know?
Yep.
Anyway, so when there's a mismatch, it gives it a negative appraisal, right? But then when someone does something bad, it's like a double negative, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you've got a woman politician, and it's like, what? Wait, she shouldn't be a politician, she's a woman. But then let's say if she does something bad, she's a double bad, she's a really bad politician. Do you know what I mean?
She shouldn't have done that.
But then when you look into the relation of race, it's off. Like then you can see how it's fitting. So think about Diane Abbott, who was shadow defence of the Labour Party for a number of years. She is, I think she was one of the only first like black MPs in, she was one of the first black MPs, like first black women MPs. Yeah. And I remember looking at statistics about like Twitter and like hate abuse and like all of that stuff. And there's one recently, I think they did something like 25. They looked at politicians, the rate of which politicians received like hate and online and whatnot. And I think it was like over 27,000 tweets. Half of those was just directed at Diane Abbott. So you can see
the UK is not innocent.
Misogynoir in a way that there is a society against her in a societal norm. You know?
Yeah.
She's also a woman, and then she is also a black.
And she's a black. Imagine
How
if she was
they?
Imagine if she was gay. Oh my god.
Do you know what I mean? And like I found it really interesting how this if you understand this theory, and then you understand that you're a human, you understand that there's 7 billion people on this earth, everybody is sort of, well, depending on where you live and where, like, and how you've been brought up, but everybody is also provided with this conditioning and this socialization. So let's say in like the West, like in the UK alone, we have all been through the same conditioning.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Unless it, like, okay, so let's say if we all went to schools, right? I heard Jill Scott, you know, that race educator, that white woman, she referred it to, if you went to school in a Western world, that is not education, that's indoctrination.
Oh, Lord.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And it's just crazy because the thing is, people like, what is racism? I think if you understand this theory and then you can understand that the history of discrimination, whether black people weren't fit for jobs, black people were superhuman in...
They had amazing strength.
Amazing strength.
And this and that.
And then if you cross-reference that, or maybe cross-compare that to institutional settings, you can really sort of expose the virus that is racism, and you can actually understand how influential it is to a person's well-being.
I feel like it's a very visible thing.
Yes.
It is a very, very visible thing. Because if we think about it, okay, football players, basketball players, like, it's either... words.
Go for it.
It's like you only want to, for example, praise us when we're doing something in a way to entertain you.
Yeah.
Like black comedians, they're loved. They're so hilarious because they say the white jokes. They say the black jokes that white people say amongst themselves. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And they say it out loud. About it. So they're like, oh my God, he's just my favorite. And then realistically, you can watch any other black person or any other person be discriminated against in real life. So you're not actually, no, you can't. You just, in a way, it's kind of like you want to use us for a number of different reasons. Entertainment, over to something. Emotional labor, being like...
Oh, the emotional brunt of things as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, do you know what?
Like, you have to carry the weight of the... Like, we have to be strong.
Yeah, no, but the thing is... Honestly,
we have to be strong.
Me and my friend was on the phone the other day, and I was just thinking about when I was in school and how... I'll definitely talk about this more in one episode, but how when I was in school and I knew when let's say the teachers would be upset in their own personal lives, and that influenced how much racism that I was going to get. So I've literally...
Christ, that's sad.
It's sad, and that's how I look. Honestly, like at least 4 white men, teachers in that school, have screamed in my face, right? And then a week later, I found out they have fucking marital problems. So they think that they can brunt on me, a 14-year-old dark-skinned black woman.
For what reason? I shouldn't have to be your emotional cushion, your teacher. I shouldn't have to be there.
I shouldn't be there. I shouldn't have to be there. But the thing is, they saw me as a black child that shouldn't be at a private school. So that was the first. Okay. So let me talk about this theory in relation to this incident. So they saw that black child was in that school,
in a private school.
Well, she's not ought to be there.
She doesn't
belong there, but she actually is. So we've got a mismatch then, right? Year 10, I was aware of this stuff. No, I was aware of racism, but I wasn't as vocal as I was in year 11.
Yeah.
Year 11, if you came for me, I'm coming for your head. And
I love it.
And that again. So like, look, okay.
But then the thing is, the second you then come for them, you become disruptive, angry, hard to teach.
And now I've confirmed their opinion that they had of themselves. So now, do you see how that negative appraisal has already been heightened?
Yeah.
Because it's like, now she's being aggressive. Now she's fighting back. And now she's fulfilling the stereotype that I so deem and I so fear, because that is what I've been conditioned to see in a black woman.
Oh, then they start feeling attacked because you're sticking up for yourself.
Honestly.
You're sticking up for yourself. Realistically, no one should be screaming in the face of a 14-year-old child.
Nobody. One. Like, how are you a teacher?
How are you teacher?
At
a private school.
Honestly, like I lost that. You know when you become comfortable with cussing out people older than you.
Yeah.
I became comfortable then. Honestly, like oh my god, this one. Let me tell you about this one woman. I'll leave it for another episode. This one woman, right?
Yeah.
She was an embarrassment. Okay, but this one woman, right? Let me say that I worked with. She was my teacher.
Yeah.
She was extra, man. She was you know the ones who were like tell you about their personal life and you're literally there trying to learn.
Yeah.
Do you know what this bitch said to me once? Do you know what she said to me? She called me illiterate. She called me illiterate, right? She called me illiterate. She what else did she do? She called me illiterate and then she said I don't know why, but I was in book club at one point. Like I don't know why I was there, but I
love that though. How can you call me illiterate? I'm going to book club.
But do you know what she said as well? She was like, "Oh, Sarah, didn't you like it because there wasn't any pictures in the books?" She said that to me when I was 14 by this point. This is when I was like 16, right?
Oh, at 16, I was a psychopath. I'd be like, let's go outside.
Honey,
let's go outside.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know how to fight, so I couldn't. I didn't know how to fight. Like, I'll tell you now. Like with me, it was me, my voice versus the world. Like my voice.
No, but I love that. I love that.
I didn't know. I literally because the thing is, I didn't know how to.
No, but this is the thing. I feel like you then have to learn how to defend yourself in a number of ways.
Oh, honey, I gave it to her. I told her about herself. Like literally, she always used to talk about her boyfriend, right? So I basically
that's unprofessional, isn't it?
It's so embarrassing. So I basically called her out on her boyfriend in front of like a class, and she literally went quiet. And then also I got an A in her fucking class.
Jeez, we love to see
it again.
Ooh.
Tell me I'm illiterate again because I'm still out here getting A's.
If I was in that school, it would have been a whole.
Oh no, that's the thing. Like, it's weird because it was such a weird moment because at the end of the day, like, it was some of the worst years of my life. But also, if I didn't I went to that school with C's and I came out with A's. You know, so like I was able to go to this Manchester University because of that school.
Grades.
I was able to find language and find interests and hire myself in that environment, and that's still a privilege in itself.
In the face of diversity, though, literally.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird because it's such a conflict. It's like those are the worst experiences of my life, but then also, if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't be getting opportunities that and smashing life today.
It's like you have to be so strong. You have to just, it'll make you stronger. You'll be able to move on better. You've got this. And in a way, sometimes it does. For example, that example, perfect. It can make you stronger, but realistically, why is it so fine to subject a child to make them feel like they have to be so strong?
Do you know what I mean?
They have to, like, for example,
can't I just be?
Boys don't cry.
Yeah, exactly. As simple as that. Something that we're conditioned at such a young
age.
Such a young age.
And honestly, like, I can't even lie. I had to change how I thought, because
100%.
I was so used to people saying, "Oh, boys don't cry, that my little brother, I love him more than anything. When he used to cry when I was little, when he was little, I would get so mad at him, because I'm just like, stop. Everyone else is gonna think you're weak, and I know you're not weak. And it's kind of just like, you're meant to try and hide your emotion just so you can carry on, just so you can move, and just so you can try and get to better places. You're meant to just, okay, take it on the chin, let's go. No, let's go. It doesn't affect me. And then they don't actually think of what psychologically that does to people from such a young age.
Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, the energy that I have for the students will always be different to the teachers, because the teachers are in places of power. They are literally in a duty of care to those students, and you want to dismiss that same level of care because I'm darker than my classmate.
Then
Just because you're scared of black people, deal with that shit on your own.
Do you know what
deal
I
with that shit on
mean?
your own. Do not put that shit onto me. Like,
It's got
that's none of
nothing
my
to
business.
do with
I'm
me.
just out here fucking trying to get my grades and going.
Honestly, we're probably the nicest people you will ever met.
Yeah.
Like, ever meet,
do you know what I
realistically.
mean? I'm probably the nicest person you ever met, but honey, if you give me nonsense, I'll meet you
Give
there.
me a reason.
Give
Like,
me
do you know
a
what?
reason.
Like, it's like weird
Have you seen-
examples.
Have you seen Cardi? What was the reason?
What was the reason? What was the reason? Oh my days. Do you know what? Like, there used to be like, there's times that I feel like I would do things just to, not like make people, I wouldn't do it to make people feel awkward, but to kind of be like, oh, I know you felt away when you saw me, so I'm going to do this. Like, for example, I used to purposely walk old ladies across the road. I'd be like, okay, this is when I lived in Moston. At the time, my family moved from London. Actually, no, let me backtrack. When I lived in Southeast London, I didn't know what racism actually was. Like, I was just like, I was in such a diverse community. Like, I'd hear people be like, oh, that's racist, but then not actually being like,
but what is it? Like,
what
you
is
can
it? Like,
identify.
I've had people telling me like what they think it is, but I never experienced it.
Yeah.
I never experienced
Because
it.
the thing is, you hear so much diversity. Like, it doesn't even, like, you have different languages because you're in a collection of culture. Like, so many different things.
That's probably the reason why I feel like I understand every language. I feel like I understand Japanese. I feel like I understand Eritrean. I feel like I understand. I was so used to being in such a like I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be worried that someone's gonna look at me in a certain type of way. And then I moved to Manchester, and I was like, moved to Moston, and I was like, oh.
Is Moston a really white area?
It was at the time when we moved. It was like 2005, and that was the first time someone to my face called me a nigger, and I was like, oh, I'm only 10 years old. Like, what have I done to upset you? Like, I was so confused. I was like, what have I done to make you say that word when I'm just going home from school? Like, there's so many experiences. I was kind of just like, in a way, I didn't, when you're young, you don't know what, so in a way, I just apologized. I would always be like, I'm sorry, like... Ooh.
Yeah, because it's confusing. You're like, because someone's attacking you for something, but then you're a person and you're like, okay, so what have I done to...
I've not actually done anything.
But then you grow up and then you realise, no, it's actually the racist problem.
It's the racist problem.
When you're younger, you think you internalise the racism.
Honestly.
You're like, oh shit, I must have done something bad, and they're just using this facet of my identity. Because I know that racism influences me, but it's not the only thing that happens in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think it had to get to one situation where I was just like, you know what? I don't care if you think I'm going to be violent, if I'm going to be the loudmouth. I'm not having this anymore.
Yeah.
We had a neighbour, when we moved to Moston, and he lived with his family. They were all obviously racist. And what he would do, although he was scared of my big brother, every day I would finish school. They had dogs and I was scared of dogs.
Yeah.
The period that I would finish school was from like 3 to about 3:30. They'd have the dog off the lead, out on the road.
That's disgusting.
Like, out on the road. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm scared of dogs. And I can't be like, oh, excuse me, can you shout your dog? Because I've never spoken to you. I've never felt comfortable or safe to speak to you even sometimes when they're in their front garden and I'm going to my house, which is next door, I feel like all eyes are on me. Like I feel like, just put your head down, and you shouldn't feel like that going into your home. But when I was younger, I just thought, you're just gonna have to get used to this. This is what Manchester's like. Just take it on the chin, just move. You have to be strong. You always have to be strong.
Yeah, you inherit the sort of mentality that survivor.
And then you have to be like, oh, I have to be strong, but then I also then don't want to be that narrative that I've seen people push upon black women.
Do you know what I mean?
Like black people, I don't want to be that narrative. So okay, let me just run inside quickly, you'll be fine, run inside quickly. And then one day I thought, nah. I was very independent when I was young as well, so I never wanted to tell people. I never wanted to tell
I never wanted to tell anybody thing. That was for me in my journal.
Yeah, literally, because I thought, that, and I thought, if my brother finds out, what's really going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, it's probably, I don't want to then cause a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't want to cause a problem.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'll just bear the brunt of it. And I just thought, at one point I thought, nah, do you know what? So I said to my brother, I was like, bro, I'm on the way home. Can you get home before me? And he was like, I'm chilling with the boys. Why? What's up? And I was like, I didn't want to tell you, but the next door neighbour, he's been having his dog out since I've started school and I walk home on my own. He was like, Rebecca, you've been going to school. You've been going to that school for a year. What do you mean you've not? Like, what do you mean he's always had his dog out? I was like, yeah, I just didn't want, I didn't want to bother you. You're chilling with the boys and you're doing your own thing. Like, but he's got his dog out today and I'm just not in the mood today. Can you come? My brother came and my brother was on all the smoke. He was on all the smoke. And you know what the funniest thing is?
Yeah.
The second my brother pulled up, the dog got called straight back into the house and the gate was closed.
This just takes us... Sorry, let me just...
Ooh.
Now, Miss Sergeant Noir, do you see what's happened? This white family, these white neighbours, right? They have seen a black man, and because patriarchy exists, the dog was called inside.
The dog was called inside,
rapid,
so quickly. And I thought all this time that I would be like on the end of my street peeking. I just thought, this dog don't listen to them. Maybe it's that. I was like, maybe the dog's just a bit tapped,
Honestly.
And I've never seen that dog go inside the house so quickly. I've never been them be so quick to be like, inside.
It's crazy because the thing is, like, I was saying this the other day. I was like, there's racism and there's racism against black women. And I swear to fucking God, if we do not protect black women in this whole conversation, like, honestly, you know what story really stuck out to me? The Oluwatoyin Salu.
Oh my days.
That broke my heart. You've got a woman, activist, literally on the streets.
Very
literally vocal, doing the
in
most
your
for
face,
black and
telling
brown
you
people in
about
life.
her experiences, telling you what she's been through. Some people will tell you things and not make it personal. She's personally letting you know. And you're,
It broke my heart. Because she basically, if you are well aware, which I hope you're not, she was a protester, but she also got sexually assaulted. She reported her assault all over social media. Reported it to the police
a number of times.
And was it 9 days later they found her body and she was killed by black men. Like black women should not be having to fight two fights.
And the thing is, it's like, it's like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. Mm-hmm. We have to protect black men. Mm-hmm. We have to then protect ourselves because we feel like who's then going to protect us?
Yeah.
And then we feel like, we have this white person that's coming. That's good. They for example, they want to show their solidarity, and then we're just like, are you trying to just be a white savior? Like what are you?
What's your intention?
We have to question everything. Everything. Like, are you doing this just because you want to fuck me? Realistically,
you know what I mean?
That's also another thing.
Because that's the thing. It's like we've been challenged for so much of our lives for being black. So for us not to rethink and us for not to gaslight ourselves and for us not to just overthink the situation.
Overload everything.
Also doing ourselves a disjustice because it's like I've been through it before. And it's not even just I've been through it before, but someone who looks like me
has been through it. So
and it's over there, and then it's over there, and then it's over there. So when I tell you racism is everywhere and anywhere, it's everywhere.
And this is the thing, people can't say they don't educate themselves because how can I, a young girl, know how to dance around situations, or how to want to don't walk down this alley, or don't walk around this group of people.
That house, or avoid
that house
street,
on the
you know
street.
that man lives there. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
or
Things like that when you're growing up.
Like, and it was just a thing that we had to, again, take on the chin and move on with. So we just had to. Oh, it's just.
It's just so many different types of racism, and I think like, not as long. I mean, understand how you can see racism, how you can see it, how it works as a perception filter, because it can't go unaddressed anymore. And
I just want to say, one thing I want to say is, it's not my job to teach anybody. I just want to live my life. So, researching it, I'm not like. And if you want to hear my experiences, run me my check. Run me my check, because it's fine. It's not even fine. It's realistically, it's disgusting watching other people make money from a movement, and that has nothing to do with them. Realistically, it's annoying. It is annoying. Really, like, we're trying to educate.
But it's invalidating as well.
It's very invalidating.
It's literally like, okay, so you know what?
I spoke to my black friend, and my black friend said this, so I'm just going to tell you how my black friend sees it.
Because the thing is, especially with like racial education, like, I think we're not just coming to you with things that we've learned. We've actually gone out, seek sources, seek conversation. We've gone outside to strengthen the inner, you know? And that comes with our emotional resilience. That also comes with our, even the way that we talk. Do you know what I mean? The fact that we're able to address so many issues. Sorry, I'm just chatting shit.
No, you're speaking facts. So many issues, and we can do it in so many different ways. So many different ways.
So, no, I honestly, like, it's like, if you really want to help black people, redistribution of wealth that was largely introduced because of slavery and the race page gap. No, in the race, I can't say
race wage pay gap.
There you go. Thank you, Rebecca.
That was a bit of a tongue twister.
You know what I mean? But I completely understand it. So, saying that, my PayPal is in my Instagram bio.
Jeez! I love that.
100%, because the thing is, it's like, I'm like quite good at educating people on things. Like, I'm a teacher, but
teachers get paid for their jobs.
Exactly. Teachers,
if someone makes you tea, they get paid for making you tea.
Do you know what I mean? Because I just think, like, at the end of the day, like, I could help educate, but also, what am I getting from that? I need to be getting something. And if it's the distribution of wealth, hey, my friends.
You can't, this is the thing.
Come sit.
I feel like people always expect black women just to be giving. Giving.
We were seen as mules.
I'm not nobody's mule. I will kick you in your fucking teeth, mate. I will kick you in your fucking teeth.
Ooh, actually, you know what? This is another thing that I want to, like, just talk really, really... Sorry, I don't want to go over, but I just saw something that actually is great. So, actually, I just want to take it back to this role congruity theory really quickly. And so I was reading a study, and it's really interesting. It was called Utilizing Role Congruity Theory to Examine the Hiring of Blacks for Entry-Level Sports Management. So I told you about... Sorry, that was a bit of a wordful.
Okay.
It's a bit of a wordful, but I'll get into it. So basically, the study was like... it's talking about role congruity theory on hiring people, but it talked about athletes, non-athletes, women and men. So it was interesting because they actually they found their study that on all accounts white males who were athletes were more favoured, but they even said in this study that with many of the negative stereotypes about male and female black athletes, it is evident that black athletes are at an advantage in perceived hiring ratings for entry-level management positions. So this discrimination of the fact that black people were socially constructed as frightening and offensive is a negative stereotype. Now that's a harsher judgment, and now that's higher accountability if they are fit for the role, aka if they ought to do it in relation to the role. Sorry, that was a really, really big tongue
No, I
twister.
got it. I literally got it.
All of that is connected into a negative evaluation. So can you see how racism works in that example in a social level, but how it's impacted on an institutional level? And that's why we need to acknowledge that you can't leave your bias at the door. Everyone is capable of being everyone can be capable of prejudice, and black people can't be racist, innit?
No,
we can't be racist, facts. But we can be prejudiced.
Yes, that's facts as well.
Do you know what I mean?
That's facts.
So
we can discriminate.
Yeah, we can discriminate, but we cannot physically be racist.
We've not got things institutionally in place, systematically in place to help us be racist. Do you know what I mean? So
that's that on that.
Period.
Okay, let me get you ready for the tarot thing. I'm just gonna set up and stuff.
Okay. Can I have a cigarette?
So now it's just taken into our next segment, which is Tarot Talks. This is when I do a tarot reading for my guest. I have asked Rebecca to think of a question and let me know, what is it?
So my question is, I want to know how my reading will basically help me deal with everyday discrimination, everyday prejudice, and how I'm gonna have to deal with it. Like, give me a way on how to deal with it in a calmer manner, because as you can tell, I tend to just go off straight away.
But it's like we weigh up our pros and cons, don't we?
Yeah.
If we go off or not. So it's like picking your battles, but also the battle was there. It's a sticky one, but I get what you mean.
It's like, how do I fight this battle? How do I fight this battle?
Spirit, higher power, the universe. Please can we ask for guidance and knowledge and awareness to provide us with I guess some clarity and some strength on dealing with discrimination, but also dealing with adverse effects on our well-being, so I'm gonna have to shuffle these cards. Right, would you like to touch these cards as well?
Okay,
get some energy.
Do you want me to shuffle?
You can never shuffle. Okay. You do you, man.
I can't shuffle the way everyone else shuffles, so I have to generally do it like this.
But the thing is, it's like, if you don't practice, you don't know. I'm not the best shuffler, but I'm learning. There's so many different ways to shuffle as well. There's so many ways.
Oh, some of them have gone upside down.
Oh, don't you worry. If they've gone upside down, you just shake them and you just shuffle them until you're ready.
Yep,
and then
I was like,
amazing. So I'm gonna put this deck here, and can you take a card wherever from the deck and just place it here for me?
Okay. So this one.
Shall I take it out? Oh, yeah. Ooh. Interesting. Every time I get this card, I'm listen to spirit.
Okay.
Every time I get this card. So that's why it's interesting, because I also got that card the other day. Let me see what's on the bottom of your card as well. Oh, okay. So, you've got the Seven of Swords.
Yeah.
Right? The Seven Swords shows a character sort of running away from some swords that is behind them, but they're on their tiptoes, they're being a bit sneaky, being a bit mischievous by they're maybe depicting on manners that are more calculated, right? Mm-hmm. So with the Seven of Swords, swords is all to do with your intellect and your mental realm. So this is a card that encourages you to be calculated, but also encourages you to acknowledge that calculating energies are present. So it's suggested that you are strong in your boundaries and you are strong in self. You may even look into the past, and you may look to the past sometimes, because at the end of the day, there's swords behind you. However, you've got, what swords, what mental intellect that you're taking.
Yeah, that you're taking with you.
You're moving forward. There's yellow all around here, and yellow's to do with optimism and positivity, abundance, Okay. So for an individual to be sneaky in sort of an illuminating environment kind of suggests that it's a mastery that is being learned, because you're number 7. Seven of Swords, it's not 10, so it's not complete yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this card suggests that you need to be calculated in your mental realm to provide you with security, to provide you with stability. You also see, like, there's like, I'm not sure if you can see it in the card, but there's like little tents in the background, and with tents it's like home, it's security, it's like foundation, you know.
Yeah.
But because they're in the background, that's like what my journey's to, or what my journey's from. It's like, I see home as a place of rest. So let's say in my other deck, in my Kaleidoscope deck, they've got this card depicted as ski mask, and ski mask can be like fraudulent behavior, but it's got the swords around like a ring. So it just talks about how your mind can get the better of you, or you can get the better of your mind. But this calculating energy has opportunity to be expressed in creative ways. So let's say, okay, so in relation to your tarot question, right? How can I get about, like, how can I protect myself? How can I protect my well-being with discrimination, but also within self, right? It's like, in the internal state of mind, well, this is what I'm getting from the card. In the external state of mind, I can use creative opportunities to help distract myself from my mind. So, like, you know how, like, your mind can get the better of you, you're overthinking, and, like, all of this is happening, and then you go and draw, or you go and read a book, or you go and do something creative, because creativity is not just in the art sense, you know, like, that is one way of sort of that is one way of causing, like, no, of like, not even causing, but like strengthening your mental ability, like your mental intelligence, because you're able to distance self from your thoughts, because you can acknowledge that thoughts are temporary, you know. But because of the Seven of Swords is outside, and it's sort of talking about conflicting energies, it's talking about how there needs to be like you need to be aware of it, and there is energy around you that might be insincere and might be
you know what I'm gonna say, but I'll wait for after to say that,
because this is mad, because so yeah, you got that card, and I know I said I was only gonna do one, but I just want to look at the end of the card. So the end of the card is the King of Cups. The end of the card is the King of Cups. The King of the Cups is a personality that is loving, nurturing, father figure, like, so what's the word, emotionally fulfilled. Like, they have like got you, do you know what I mean? They're like supportive, and they are very emotionally intelligent. However, right, you got that at the back of the card, so that's an old energy, and we're talking about we're asking spirit, we're asking for like this present idea to strengthen me now. Do you know what I mean? We're asking it to, like, how do I explain this? We're asking it in like, in a way that we have to distance ourselves from outdated beliefs and take the new mental intellect, or the stronger, or the better, or the things that helped us in our mental intellect into the present, you know? But we might be sneaky as well. How do you feel?
Oh my days! Oh my God! Don't leave me! Wow. Okay. Okay.
Do you get anything from this card? Like, what? Like, from what I've said, or from the imagery? Like, is there anything? Do it. Take them with you if you wanna. I don't know.
With this one, it's kind of like, what I'm getting from this one is like, I've got the information that I have, that I need to move forward in a way, and I don't really need to. I've done, like, for example, I've done enough resting. I've done enough educating myself, and I might have left these two, but I have enough of what I need to move forward. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
In a way. And when you said sneaky energies.
Yes, but I find that funny. I find it in a relation, because at the start of our conversation, at the start of the podcast, you said how you struggle to open up, and how you're an emotive person, but you like your independence. The King of Cups is emotionally supportive individual that is so caring and so nurturing that it's like the master sort of ideal. But because that's a past energy, it's like you've learned that.
Yeah.
You've already learned that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Wuss. Okay. Sorry.
Oh my god, energy! No, I love it because the thing is, it's like that card. Like this card is a very important card for me because the thing is, like, I'm a very open book. Like, I'm transparent. I wear my heart on my sleeve. However, I live in a world where not everybody is.
Not
I live in a
everyone.
world that people are calculating. People could be even malicious with their calculation. So I
Honestly.
need to learn how to navigate this energy in this space because I'm gonna be in contact with energies that aren't serving me.
And how to use my intellect to then work around these energies, even if it has to be in a sneaky way.
Yeah. But there's hope in this card. You've got so much yellow, there's so much abundance, and you're an emotive being, hence why the King of Cups. Like if you're guided by love, and if you're guided by sort of
Shaking.
abundance, and if you're governed by a space that like is, you know, just out of joy. Do you know what I mean? Not just out of joy. Let me say that because that's too like positive. But no, like if you're governed by a space that is followed through with the heart, but you've mastered the head, flying.
Oi, okay. I'm about to go have a meeting and just be very intellectual with my words.
Oh my god. But mate, I'm so how do you feel? You're speechless.
Oh my days, cause I don't even. Yeah. It takes a lot to make me speechless. So Okay.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
Good.
I can't even lie, I feel good.
Oh, that's good. I like the fact that tarot can give clarity. Do you know what I mean?
I feel good. Okay.
Amazing. Yes.
I feel amazing.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay. Because you know what I used to think? I used to be like, like it's because you're dumb, that's why you can't articulate yourself properly. Mm-hmm. And with this, I'm just like,
no, you're clever.
I'm clever. I've got what I need to articulate myself the perfect way for me.
Exactly.
And the way that other people will also be able to be like, do you know what? I understand her. Maybe she's not using big words, but I understand her.
Yeah, you're relatable and you're like informative. Do you know what I mean? Well, Rebecca, oh my god, you're killing me. Well, it's sad because it's coming to the end of our
and I'm
episode.
I want to go. Let's go.
Yes. Well, let's go to the last episode, last segment. I'm excited to what your response is going to be. But so this is the last segment. It's called the direct message, and this is sort of like a little take-home message for the listeners. We talked about race today. We talked about whiteness as an ideology. We've talked about so many things, and I think I want to leave listeners with three things. Sorry. Number one, no one is born is conscientious, right?
Yep.
That's just a fact. So be aware of this. Number two, black people deserve to be compensated for
Period.
their work, their rights, and their humanity.
Period.
I also want to say that racism is everywhere and anywhere. It's very fluid. It adapts. Mm-hmm. Like, it adapts to the environment where it's in. Regardless if I'm walking down the street and it's a personal experience when someone pushes me on the street because I didn't walk on the side to them, or if it's, I don't know, in a meeting with a college admissions tutor who's suggesting that I'm not capable for doing the assigned course. You know, it adapts into your environment. I'm talking to you about a personal experience, walking down the street compared to experience which is in an institution that's going to affect people's lives.
Literally.
You know? Yeah, racism is everywhere. There it is.
Everywhere.
What's your direct message?
Honestly, this is still flabbergasted me. Oh my days.
If you want to give that for your direct message, that's calm as well.
Actually, yeah, I do. I do.
Go for it.
My direct message is, regardless of like, I know like it might be hard to articulate yourself or like, or get what you want to say across. But with what you have, there is always a way of doing it. Always a way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Like, regardless of if it might be a race issue, if it might be like a personal issue, there is always a way of you communicating. There's always a way of you moving forward. At the end of the day, you will always move forward. No one walks backwards. Do you know what I mean?
That is a fucking line. No one walks backwards. I like that. No, I really, really like that. Oh, Rebecca, you've been amazing. You've been amazing. No, thank you. Like, I wanted you to be my guest for so long. You know this. Like, you're great. Thank you so much. No, honey, you're going to take pictures. You can search as much as you like. Please, could you tell listeners of your socials, of how to find you, your PayPal?
My socials is @Retroneek. Just be ready for the energy.
A dancing queen.
Just going to let you know from now.
You're the most entertaining person on social media. I find you so entertaining.
Thank you. When I'm having a good day. I'm entertaining when I'm having a bad day, but you might not be ready for smoke. Yeah, socials @Retroneek on literally everything. Yeah. Yeah, oh my days, this is so blah. Yeah, @Retroneek. Yeah, PayPal. Fadiora. Cash App @Retroneek. If you want, DM me and I'll send you my bank details. So
there's ways of getting
There
funds,
is
baby.
ways.
There's ways of getting funds.
Honestly, if you're not even in England, I will do. You can do international transfers.
So you can do Cash App.
Yo, run me that check.
Oh god, you kill me. Thank you guys so much for listening. I've been your host, Sarah DM. Follow me on socials, dm.talks for the podcast, dm.snaps for the personal account, you know, like for all that shit.
For the lights, for the energy,
yeah,
for all of the good stuff.
You know what I mean? For those good outfits. PayPal, if you would love to redistribute your wealth with me. Sarah D. Moy. It's on my Instagram bio. Like, yeah, if you want to donate, proceed. I'm not going to stop you. If you want to educate, if you want more education, proceed.
Definitely.
Then I'll give you some more education. But no, thank you so much for listening. I've really enjoyed this episode and it was really releasing as well.
Yeah,
so,
I needed this.
I needed this too.
I actually needed this.
Thank you very much, guys, and I shall see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you.